So I went through all 20,000 of the emails that the Democrats on the House Oversight Committee got from Jeffrey Epstein's estate. Obviously, people have paid a lot of attention to the emails that were released yesterday morning, where Jeffrey Epstein emails Ghislaine Maxwell back in 2011, referring to Donald Trump as the dog that isn't barking, and refers to Donald Trump having apparent knowledge about victims who it's alleged that Trump spent time with over at Jeffrey Epstein's house, according to these emails. But there's a lot more emails that are far more damaging. We see emails where it appears that Jeffrey Epstein is consulting with the Russian government like a week before the Helsinki summit back during Donald Trump's first term. He mentions consulting with Lavrov, the Russian foreign minister, to provide information about Donald Trump, it seems, at least in these emails, to the Russians. You have Epstein referencing what appears to be a lot of dirt about Donald Trump's finances, about mortgages, about Donald Trump screwing people over. You have Epstein in these messages saying Donald Trump's the most disgusting human being he's ever seen, and there's not any ounce of goodness in Donald Trump's entire body. And he says Trump is even grosser in person than how he appears. Let me just go through these emails with you. I want to do this in a methodical way because I went through all 20,000 of these, and I want to highlight for you the key emails. I've broken them down here. Let's just go through this together right now. So there's this email right here. Jeffrey Epstein in 2015, he emails someone named Landon Thomas Jr., and he says, have them ask my houseman about Donald almost walking through the door, leaving his nose print on the glass as young women were swimming in the pool, and he was so focused he walked straight into the door. You know, that's Donald Trump, Epstein, young women. Let's keep reading some of these emails. Jeffrey Epstein says in emails that he had been advising the Russian government on how to deal with Donald Trump, one of several cases in which he wielded his connections to try to influence the course of foreign affairs. So here's the email right here where you have Epstein emailing the former Prime Minister of Norway. Okay, it's a big deal. He's emailing Thorbjørn Jagland, former Prime Minister of Norway. So like not just like a random person. And Epstein goes, I think you might suggest to Putin that Lavrov can get insight on talking to me. Vitaly Churkin used to, but he died. In other words, he says that I was giving information to this person. Lavrov can get the info for me before Helsinki. And then you have Thorbjørn Jagland says, I'll meet Lavrov's assistant on Monday and will suggest, thank you for a lovely evening. I'll come to UN high-level week. One of the top people at the UN. Churkin was great. He understood Trump after our conversations, Epstein says. It's not complex. He must be seen to get something. It's that simple. So Epstein apparently consulting with the Russians about Donald Trump. That's June 24th, 2018. Or how about this message here? Jeffrey Epstein says, I've met some very bad people. None as bad as Trump. Not one decent cell in his body. And he's messaging that to Larry Summers. Then there's this message with Jean LeBlanc, who also died under circumstances that, let's just say, are Epstein-like and raise lots of questions. But Jean LeBlanc was involved in this kind of model agency trafficking ring as well. And here's his conversation with Epstein. saved for 2012, but I could start to look for baby clothes if we wish to turn this into reality. Or would you stick with RL Baby around the corner? Forgot that you're planning everything. I will send you a picture of this Burmese girl. Very pretty. She is the star singer in Myanmar. I will bring her to the US. Obama visits Myanmar and Chan Chan comes to America. I think that I have something new and fresh news to promote. Then it seems here that Epstein is speaking with Steve Bannon about how lawyers representing now Supreme Court Justice Brett Kavanaugh in his confirmation hearing should accuse Christine Blasey Ford, who accused him of assault, of being on medications that causes false memories or memory loss. This is from May 2017, Jeffrey Epstein to Larry Summers about Trump's level of guilt. Your world, Larry, does not understand how dumb he really is. He will blame everyone around him for bad results. Gary Cohn in a good place, as is Jared. All others are not long for this world. Now, here's an email from New York Times journalist Landon Thomas. I showed you one before, tipping Epstein off about following up investigations by a journalist and former NYPD detective, John Connolly. Thomas writes, he is digging around to Jeffrey, not clear if it's another book or expanded paperback version, was asking me all sorts of questions about why you hired Ken Starr. I told him I had no idea. I think he is doing some Trump-related digging too. Anyway, for what it's worth, ... Now, responding to a 2017 message that Trump was so gross, Jeffrey Epstein says Trump was worse in real life and up close. And someone says to Kathy Rumeyer says, Trump is so gross. Epstein goes on February 10th, 2017, worse in real life. She writes, hard to imagine. He really does remind me of MacGyver and I'm suffering PTSD. No, I rank him much lower. Then there was this email between Epstein and someone whose name is redacted, perhaps a victim, and it is a YouTube link that has since been privated. And it says, how are you? Send this interview to Donald Trump, please. It's going to be everywhere. Someone who seems to have links there. Then there is Epstein writing to his lawyer, have one of your cronies ask to see the mortgage to Mar-a-Lago. Cash from Electricians Union. His driver, Matt, was the bag man. Later made an exec at the public company, became an executive at the public company. And the $30 million loan from the casino to Donald Trump. Backdated. Okay, seem to be talking about serious financial issues. Judge for yourself. Then there is this related message about stealing pieces of an Atlantic City casino beaten up by Trump. Do you want in? So Reed, Weingarten, and Epstein are talking over here. Epstein says, speak, no, but you should talk to so-and-so. He knows something inside out. Then they go and talk about a person and they say, been beaten up by Trump, promoter. He is straight with me and will with my direction be with you. That was sent on July 2nd, 2014. Let's go through other messages. At least in this message right here between Linda Stone and Jeffrey Epstein, Jeffrey Epstein claims that right after the election, November 2016, he says in November 13th, 2016, that he is in the Trump Tower. She goes, where are you? You still in Paris? And Epstein goes, I'm in the Trump Tower. So was he in the Trump Tower that whole time? And when Donald Trump said, I never spoke to him back in since 2003, 2004, is that all one big lie? Now, of course, you know, the bombshell emails that came out earlier yesterday morning that everyone was talking about. It's why I'm not really focusing on those here. Like this one from Epstein to Ghislaine Maxwell. This is April 2nd, 2011. Epstein to Maxwell. I want you to realize that the dog hasn't barked is Trump. Victim, who's redacted, spent hours at my house with him. He has never once been mentioned. Police chief, etc. I'm 75% there. And Ghislaine Maxwell says, I've been thinking about that. Then there's this message between Michael Wolff and Epstein, where Epstein talks about a victim at Mar-a-Lago. Trump said he asked me to resign From Mar-a-Lago, Epstein says, I was never a member. Of course he knew about the girls, as he asked Ghislaine to stop. Of course Trump knew about the girls. And there's this message from Michael Wolff to Jeffrey Epstein. I think you should let him hang himself. If he says he hasn't been on the plane or to the house, then it gives you valuable PR and political currency. You can hang him in a way that potentially generates a positive benefit for you, or if it really looks like he could win, you could save him generating a debt. Of course, it is possible that when asked, he'll say Jeffrey is a great guy and has gotten a raw deal and is a victim of political correctness, which is to be outlawed in a Trump regime. Wow, that's some serious stuff that they're talking about. Then you have this message, August 23rd, 2018. Jeffrey Epstein says, I know how dirty Donald is. Can you imagine these messages that I'm reading? What's in the files? If these are the messages that are not in the files. Now, do you all remember the lewd Epstein birthday book that included a joke about Epstein selling a fully depreciated woman to Donald Trump? Now, these new documents to 20,000 emails, which I've gone through all of them, show that Epstein was telling someone that he gave Trump his 20-year-old girlfriend in the mid-1990s. That he gave his girlfriend secondhand, which is what they were saying, that she was depreciated. Sick, right? That he gave her his seconds. I mean, absolutely disgusting. And you'll see Epstein say, my 20-year-old girlfriend in 1993, that after 2 years, I gave her to Donald. I gave to Donald. Also, interestingly, Epstein said that Bill Clinton was never on the island in these emails. Epstein seems to suggest that he's with or near Donald Trump sometime in Thanksgiving of 2017 during his first term and after the infamous plea deal. You take a look right here. Again, it's unclear what the hell is going on right here. But Epstein talks about where are you? He's such a snooze. Who else is down there? David Fizzle, Hansen, Trump. He's not necessarily saying he's specifically with Trump, but he's saying that Trump is down there. Take a look at some of these other messages right here. December 7th, 2016. You have Epstein to Jonathan Farkas. Hi, Jeffrey. Hope all is well. I think you're going to have a wonderful life from now on. In your opinion, how much is left in this market? It's been Trump's triumph. I gave him some money through Woody. Best, Jonathan. Yikes, your birthday coming up next month? Well, heaven can wait. Then there's this message right here. Jacqueline Johnson talks about a Jane Doe. Please notice the deposition of Miss Maxwell has been rescheduled. A re-notice taking deposition. Mr. Trump's deposition is scheduled for August 18th, 2009. So it seems that Trump had his deposition notice. This is a message from August 11, 2009. Again, unclear what that's about. I don't think Trump ever actually had the deposition taken. You have Jonathan Farkas to Epstein over here. Summers and I talking to Trump and Melania last night. He looked and seemed very tired and upbeat. So this is, again, April 21st, 2019. Epstein has a direct line of what's going on in the White House. Then it goes to talk about, this is Larry Vysotsky, about to Jeffrey Epstein. Appears President Trump's B757 is an islip and we're parked right in front of it. It came here on Tuesday and is due to depart Wednesday this week. I mean, there are so many messages here, and he's constantly following Trump's plane and tracking Trump's plane with his sources on the inside. And I'll just maybe tie this together. You remember Epstein in his conversation with Wolff, with Michael Wolff, when Wolff was thinking about writing the biography of Epstein. Remember, he knew very specific details about their communications about what was going on in the Trump administration. Now, with all of these emails as context, it kind of ties this all together now, doesn't it? Here, play this clip right here.
I think we have a snippet from one of the conversations that I recorded with Epstein, and I think this was in a restaurant in 2017.
His people fight each other.
Right.
And then have outsiders. He sort of poisons the well outside. He will tell 10 people Bannon's a scumbag, and Priest is not doing a good job, and Kelly has a big mouth. And what do you think? Jamie Dimon says that you're a problem. and I shouldn't keep you. And I spoke to Carl Icahn, and Carl thinks I need a new spokesperson. So Kelly, even though I hired Kellyanne's husband, Kellyanne is just too much of a wild card. And then he tells Bannon, I really want to keep you, but Kellyanne hates you.
I have more than dozens. I probably have 100 hours of Epstein talking about the inner workings of the Trump White House and about his long-standing, deep relationship with Donald Trump.
There you have it, folks. I'm sure there's a lot more emails that I missed. There's the email from the first batch as well that I might as well talk about here. And the email is Epstein and Ghislaine talking about Gossman, WPB property, West Palm Beach property. They're talking about Trump and that they, the feds, probably talked to Trump. And WPB is West Palm Beach. Trump purchased a property for $40 million in a foreclosure sale from Gossman in 2004 that Epstein was going to purchase. Then 4 years later, Trump sold it to Rybolev, a Russian oligarch, in 2008 for $95 million. And Epstein believed that that was a shady transaction with Rybolev and Trump. But that's what that email, I believe, refers to. So bombshell emails. I hope you appreciated. We went through this very methodically here. Let me know what you think. Hit subscribe. Let's get to 6 million. Thanks for watching.
Love this video? Support independent media and unlock exclusive content, ad-free videos, and custom emojis by becoming a paid member of our YouTube channel today. You can also gift memberships to others. Let's keep growing together.